Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? Well, now you can. Have you heard of Anchor by Spotify? Let me give you a rundown. Basically, it's the easiest way to make a podcast nowadays with everything you need all in one place. Here's how it works. Anchor lets you record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer, no matter what setup you have and when you want to create that day. Then you can distribute your podcast on the most popular listening platforms, including Spotify, with a single tap. Anchor is also the only place that you can publish a video now on Spotify. Anchor is one of the top places used by a lot of different content creators who want to get their voice out there and be heard. And of course, as always, if I haven't mentioned, it's totally free. Go ahead now, guys. Start your own podcast, create your journey, and let your voice be heard. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the locker room. I am your host and your favorite Kansas City girl, Kennedy Bright. And as always, what is said in the locker room stays in the locker room. Get your playbooks ready, guys. What is good, rookies? Welcome back to another episode. And in this week's episode, we promised you last week for a part 2, because last week we talked about all the great things about athletes. Well, guess what? Emily's back this week, and we're going to talk about the cons. And Emily's podcast is now officially out, you guys. Queen of the Court. She already dropped the intro. So definitely make sure you listen to it. I'm going to be sure to have it linked in the description, so that way you guys can go ahead and listen to it. And she's going to tell you a little bit about this week's episode coming out tomorrow. So go ahead.
Hey guys. So basically it is called Queen of the Court. It is, yes, it's very corny and it has to do with basketball and everything that I'm going to be my topics is going to be a metaphor of basketball. But once you actually start listening to it, you won't understand why I did it that way. So this week's episode that Kennedy's going to be on is called Hook, Line, and Sinker, to hookup culture in today's society and how it has ruined dating as a whole.
So first off, we left off last week. The last question I was going to ask, the question is the $1 million question: basketball or football players, and why?
Football is number one, sadly. Let me explain why. In my opinion, I don't remember exactly where we left off with this last week, but for me, it's a thing of what I look like. And I hate to say this, but I'm not the skinniest person, but I'm not also, what society calls plus size. So I consider myself mid-sized, but for a white woman, I'm considered plus size.
Yeah.
So because of how strong our society has put the European standards on us on how to look. So for me, I like men that got a little bit of
some meat to them.
You know what I mean? Like I like men who got a little bit of size, even if they're shorter. Love my short kings. Not shorter than 5'8", but I love my short kings.
Okay, I was like, what short was on? Pause, because I can't. What is it? You had me, then you lost me.
Yeah, I had me, then you lost me. No,
I saw some back in.
Yes, like my thing is like I like feeling protected in that aspect, and I feel like one, they can get their hands dirty because it's a contact sport, like contact sport. 2, most of them usually are a lot physically stronger, mentally stronger. The whole cheating side of it and them just being trifling, that just comes with it. And basketball men, they're sweet and like, they're mommy's boys, but like they're tall, scrawny, and I just feel like I would break them and I'd have to be the one to fight.
I agree with the football about them being able to get their hands dirty. Football is for sure my favorite. I agree with you about like I don't know. It's a lot. Going into the cons, I feel like there's a lot of things that factor into the situations that happen. And in particular, I want to talk about college athletes because it's a lot easier. And first of all, I feel like everyone can relate to college athletes. Why? Because they're in your classroom, they're at your school, they're walking around campus. They're very more accessible than like professional athletes. Like that's just,
they get in everybody's DMs.
Yeah. But like college athletes, like you don't have to look like they're they're everywhere. So 9 times out of 10, pretty much a lot of girls have ran into a college athlete.
It ain't that big of a deal.
Right. So not even just that, but also the point of literally your environment makes it so easy for you to run into them, makes it easier for you to have
neighbors,
drama, like everything. Yeah. When you look at an aspect of professional athletes, you're looking at most NFL teams, basketball teams, like all of Major League Baseball, like everything is in usually big cities. So they're living
Mm,
anywhere, everywhere. You
water
might not really run
range.
into them. Yeah, like it's really hard for you to run into one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that one's a little harder. Like if you get into some drama with some people or him, it's usually like y'all kind of went looking for the drama. But when it comes
Yeah.
to the college athletes, it just happens. So that's why I really want to focus this week on our cons on them. Every girl's gonna relate to this, and you're not insane for these experiences that you've been through. Okay, we've all been there,
You're
and they've
not
done it to
crazy. He's
us.
gaslighting you, babe.
The number one thing I think that factors into it is the living conditions. I think living conditions expose one of two things: either one, you catching him with other girls, or two, you being caught.
Neighbor. And we didn't know we were neighbors. And like we matched on Tinder and he didn't establish nothing. I was very naive. Well,
Right.
we ended up being literally neighbors. I could never notice that I could see from my living room window to his bedroom window.
Oh,
So after this, I'm noticing like all these bitches going to his crib. I'm like, damn, this man a hoe.
the living conditions. They honestly they tell them every single time. I have a very similar story. We're gonna call him Yukon. He the whole time was for months like, oh my god, like yes, like it's me and you, like he really liked me, all this. The scariest thing was that exact day. These other people like told me, like athletes were like, he's talking to the girl on the volleyball team, all of this. I'm like, no, he's not. Like, what are you talking about? It's just us. Walk. Okay, this is gonna sound so bad, but I didn't know at the time. I had class with another one of his teammates. And that person's the only one to answer the phone. And he was like, yeah, you can stay at my place. And he was going to go, stay at one of his host places. So I'm like, oh, thanks. That went. He's just a friend. So I'm like, okay, thanks. As me and him are walking to his place, why do I see UConn walking up with the volleyball player at like 1 in the morning?
Let
High
me
as a
tell him
kite.
about this, bro.
We're in the elevator together. We're in the elevator together. Us four. Us four. I'm livid. So when I say these living conditions tell on you.
The thing is these men will not hide what they're doing.
But one thing I have a very important rule: you always need to make sure that you protect yourself when you go to any college apartment, especially if it's one where you don't want to get caught, because I never want to give someone a chance. Always wearing school apparel, stuff you buy at the bookstore or, your local grocery store that sells your school apparel, because I never want to give someone a chance to be like, yeah, I mess with her and you embarrass me because I look like I'm another number, another girl on your roster. It's not happening. So every guy for me is a sneaky link. And I'm going to tell you why. This is when people start using the word sneaky link. I hated it. Why? Because everybody I talk to is a sneaky link, as in it's none of your business, especially if you talk to athletes. Like you have to be sneaky, because you could even talk to them and never do anything and it go bad. Like everything is sneaky. And I feel like people use it as a hookup term. And I'm like, no, I could, because the thing is, you can just communicate with the guy, never do anything, nothing. And everyone acts like, oh yeah, well, they won't believe it. Or
Yeah.
he can lie. Like, no. So,
It's
oh, a sneaky link. I'm like, no, no, no. Friends with benefits hooking up is completely different than a sneaky link. Because guess what? I can really like you and you're going to be a sneaky link. Like we were saying, I think it factors in a lot of drama when it comes to athletes, because they just don't care and they mess with any and everything. Um, and I also feel like too, a problem is there's just never any privacy at all, at all. And that's also a very hard thing. And talking about it right now, like it's just kind of made my stomach hurt, this whole conversation. Because I'm really up for at a place where I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't want it anymore. Like I'm tired. It has been such a nice break, like not looking at Snapchats, not looking at any, like I like it. Like there's no, like it feels good. Okay.
it's like a big weight lifted off of me. Like I don't have to be on go 24/7.
Girl, why is my sister calling me? Huh? Give me 2 seconds. She don't have a crazy. I tried. You recording? Yes. I'm gonna call you right back. I'm almost done. My sister don't ever call and she FaceTime me, and she was with her friend tonight going to get food stuff. I'm like, hold on a second. Do I need to roll up somewhere? Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of toxic when it comes to them and a lot of cons. And I feel like a lot of them take advantage of their lifestyle and give a lot of athletes a bad name. And so, yeah, I'm tired. I'm kind of done. I'm really wore out. You guys don't understand. I'm really wore out. And one thing I was like, oh my God, what if people don't listen to me anymore? I don't care. If you don't want to hear me talk about my Healing Girl season, hear me talk about overcoming all this, then obviously you're not really down with me. Honestly, y'all, I'm just tired. I'm wore out. I have plenty of stories of bad things to last us a lifetime.
Yeah.
But continuing to earn more bad badges to talk about for podcasts, I can't do it. I'm tired. I'm wore out. My heart can't take it. Not even my heart. My heart don't care. My heart doesn't exist, but my mental health does, and it can't take it anymore. My stomach hurts. Like, no. What does that song do better? Your ass just came back and your ass is getting a little bigger. Girl, fuck that little nigga. Okay, anyways, that's about to. We gonna make a playlist. We gonna make a playlist, and that's gonna be on it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Emily, for coming. I'm tired, but it's like, how I'm totally beat. I'm addict to TikTok, but I'm trying to be done for like I'm recovering. Like I want to go to AA, like for real, just so I can. And they're gonna be like, "What's your addiction?" I'm like, "Ah, please."
Athletes. You said A. You didn't specify what A was.
Right. It's anonymous. Mind your business, bitch. I'm still addicted. Hi, it's day 3 that I now. No, I've been doing good though, for real, with my faith.
You
I've been
should
doing
have.
good.
You should have used that as your. You should
My
rebrand yourself. You should have. You should have made that your intro. Hi, my name is Kennedy, and this is Athletes Anonymous.
no, it's about to be a new one. Welcome to the meeting. I thought of another like a series. Okay, y'all. Thank you guys. Bye.